Hello, my name is Brant Hunt. My channel is Certainly What is True. Today is the 26th day of December 2023, that is. And I'm going to continue to read the book here called The Egyptian Miracle, an introduction of the wisdom of the temple. And this is a book that was written by Rene Schwaller de Lubicz. And this will be the third chapter of the book. And it's going to be somewhat short tonight. It is. And this one's called Ideas and Symbols. I'm sorry, I told you the wrong chapter. It's called The Bridge of Sirah. S-I-R-A-H. I got a little ahead of myself. That was chapter 4. So we're going to be reading from this particular chapter. Looks like about 4 or 5 pages, so it's not going to be that long. So let's get into the particular book here and let's do a few little things here. Check it out. Change the color here, a little background better, be easy to read. So welcome all. And so, again, this guy is really good. I enjoy reading some of his works, although I am more of a history buff or a philosophical deal. But this guy's enormously brilliant. Him and his wife wrote many books. I'm yet to read any of her particular books yet, but I wanted to get into this particular author because Phil Langdon recommended him to me about a month ago, or maybe less than a month ago. And so I've just been basically reading those and also reading from another guy, Alvin Boyd Kuhn. He also recommended him to me. So I've been reading those particular books. So this is called The Bridge to Sirah, S-I-R-A-H. And let's get this thing centered a little bit. Applied symbology can be compared to the Bridge of Sirah in the Islam Quran. It is wide as a razor edge. On either side is a yawning gulf of prediction. One precipitate is the mentality of logical or mathematic reason, the other of superstition. It is almost impossible to avoid the vertiginosus attraction of the reasoning mind. Here everything finds a equilibrium, a equation. Every argument has an answer, a thing exists only through its complement, subconsciously in command. The senses find their satisfaction. Everything finds their satisfaction. Everything is reduced to perceptible notions. When the average scientific, cultural individual of our mental world approaches a purely symbolic center such as ancient Egypt, he suffers it as an unbearable constraint, and with great relief dismisses it as either a imperialism or idolatry. In the ancient world of Egypt, all is symbol. Every gesture of life, each ritual of cult, each stela, each monument, every hieroglyph, its color and emplacement, each figuration, the shape of every common object, all obey the law of wisdom that situates each thing in the harmonious sight of its cosmic nature. In other words, it has a purpose in whatever it does, what color, whatever it is in Egypt with these particular olden temples or the hieroglyphs, the writings, all that has a purpose in it. And unfortunately, we don't take it seriously. This strikes us as obsessive, a determinism akin to slavery, the denial of all free will, and recalls the abusive ascendancy of the church when it had the right to supervise family intimacy as well as the seekers of the throne. The priesthood is and always will be abusive. It was so in Egypt and elsewhere, but that is not the point in question, which has rather in the tendency of our awareness is bias or disposition. If we oriented, let's see if we can get this thing working again. We oriented towards the rational method of equativity symbolism will seem insufferable in its rigorous application. We are oriented towards what we call a vital thought process. We can discover therein man's greatest pleasure to know. We can understand the significance of things, which leads us towards their best uses. We will know a natural magic through harmony that knows how to place each thing in its time, in precise place, and hence into sympathetic relationship with everything that shares its nature. We shall know what governing phenomenon. But all this demands a constant state of consciousness, you see. That's part of the whole idea, the laws of Genesis, and few are able to cultivate such awareness for this. So I screwed up, guys. Hold on a second here. I lost my spot here, so I'm going to try to find it. So just bear with me. Okay, so we're talking about it. The priesthood is and always will be abusive. It was so in Egypt and elsewhere, but that is not the point in question, which lies rather in the tendency of our awareness. It is its bias or disposition. I've gone through that. If we are oriented towards the rational method of equating symbolism, will seem insufferable in its rigid applications. We are oriented towards a vital thought process. We discover therein man's greatest pleasure is to know. We understand the significance of things, which leads us towards their best uses. We will know a natural magic through harmony that knows how to place each thing in its time, its precise place, and hence into sympathetic relationships with everything that shapes its nature. We shall know what governs phenomenon. But all this demands a constant state of consciousness, the laws of Genesis, and few are able to cultivate such awareness. The menace of the other void then comes into play, that is leading to the lowest magic and superstition. Such and such a day, hour, a gesture is ill omen or beneficial. Why? Because that's the way it is. Fear replaces spiritual knowledge, you see. Imagination replaces consciousness, and the maniacs flourish. Is this a sufficient reason to repudiate the straight path symbolism or to disavow efforts for the orientation of thought towards a kind of vital logic? The bridge to Surat leads to paradisical liberation. Anyone walk in who will. Thus speaks the prophet, not the missionary. A specific idea as figure of speech or imagined figuration, the symbol is always more concrete than the idea is evoked. Thus the means, the tool, symbolizes the function, and function symbolizes a state or a quality. Only as Kabbalah can the function symbolize the more concrete idea of the means or the tool if another idea were to phonetically evoke an idea to be kept hidden as a conventional secret, with its meaning revealed to a particular form of consciousness only, but closed to normal sensory intelligence. Then the secret has nothing of the conventional about it. It is more specifically connected to symbolism, which through which evolves, which evolution alone can transcribe that for which words will always be lacking. For example, the seat and the throne evoke different ideas of elevation, one physical, the other of power. Yet the seat in general also evokes the grand work of foundation. The let's see where we're at here. Sky evokes the function of arresting or causing to cease, as the sword evokes the function of piercing through or else of separating or cleaving. But the fact of mowing the reaper in action evokes maturity as the final and culminating point of a state. The sword, on the contrary, evokes the violent act which brings to a halt, without defining the state thus brought to cessation. The staff evokes the idea of striking and punishing, but the act of striking with a staff can evoke a Kabbalistic idea of the staff itself. Thus, Moses struck the rock with a wand. Generally speaking, symbolism is the evocation of a intelligent words can only paraphrase and not directly transcribe. Excluding a pure conventionality that is often and mistaken also called symbolism, one must distinguish between natural and artificial symbolism. The latter includes metaphor, allegory, and parable, as well as the symbolism combined from natural symbolic elements. Natural symbolism is furnished exclusively by natural forms, including geometric forms. These evoke their abstract notion, that is, their idea, and the abstract function, from which they stem or which could result from them. These two aspects of symbolism, as well as a great number of customs and popular uses, are genuine means of transcription for universal or abstract ideas. In this same spirit, within a subtle constructed ensemble, myths are the expression of theological and cosmology doctrines. Myths always borrow geographically and historical facts in order to give a concrete meaning for the narrow mass intelligence, always eager to hook its thought to what it falsely calls reality or realities. Reality alone is the invariably datum, which material fact is always variable. Therefore, the meaning evoked in myth is reality. This is where people get really confused here, and I'm just going to say this again. The whole idea simply is that what Scripture is about is stories and myths. But the problem is we're not able to discern what a myth is because we've been taught a certain way of thinking, or how we discern words, and then we come with the meanings that we put that reality into our meaning of what it means, you see. So I'm just going to say this again. Reality alone is the invariable datum, which material fact is always variable. Therefore, the meaning evoked by myth is reality, and the material image on which it is constructed nothing but the dust that returneth into dust. Mediocrity nevertheless clings to its illusion, endowed symbols with the value of truth rather than seeking this in what the symbol evokes. This dual meaning imparts to hieroglyphic writing subtlety that conventional alphabetical writing lacks, in allowing it to address itself simultaneously to all as well in to chosen few. Well as chosen few. The same can be said of geometry. what special to everyone as mechanical and to a few as mystical, mathematics as a knowledge of number. Modern mathematics, that is the decimal system and algebra, can no longer achieve this, as it thus reduces all thinking to a concrete mechanical function unable to break out of its closed circle. On the one hand, the symbol allows expression beyond sensational intelligence. On the other, it can make us understand, throughout analogy, the kinship between various phenomenon itself. This kinship is in turn permits a more exact relation of memory and millennia in order to render more accessible the aim pursued by thought or action. A unique and marvelous means symbolism allows allows man break the material circle that limits his understanding of universe and prevents him to envision a where are we at here? I just lost it. Of a universe and prevents him to envision a higher and broader state of consciousness. Syllogism is the law governing quantitative relationships, arrested forms of caveats, whereas nature, that is not seen and dying is life and obeys a mobile law that within substance that is universal and indeterminate energy is active between a idea that is in a Platonic sense and the actual material form. This law of life can only be formulated through the natural symbol, which necessarily evokes the entire the entire complex of possibilities attached to this nucleus symbol. In the development of this subject, we will examine various forms of applied symbolism and its philosophy, and we shall see what conclusions can be drawn. That is the end of chapter 3. Again, the chapter 3 is entitled The Bridge of Sirah, Sirah, and that is the conclusion of chapter 3 this evening. So thank you for being here, and I appreciate your attention. A very short chapter, and we will continue this chapter. This is again from the Egyptian Miracle by Rene Schwaller. And got a good ways to go here. So, but this is a good book. I'm already seeing some things very pointed at here. So I'm happy that I'm discovering more new things, and this is good. I'm learning something, hopefully leading me to wisdom and be able to come to the realization that myths are important in many writings. Okay, I wish you good night. You take care, and we'll see you soon. Again, my channel is Discerning What Is True, and also on YouTube, and also on Odyssey, and also on my Facebook page, Brant, B-R-A-N-T, Hunt. Thank you.